Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're having a good week. I wanted to come in here and I wanted to talk to you guys about my 5 tips that I have for creating social media content and repurposing content. Because let's face it, creating social media content, whether you're a social media manager, a virtual assistant, you work for an MLM, and you're just trying to stand out. You're trying to get your information out there and engage with people. And it can be a sore point for a lot of people because you're trying to figure out how to stand out. You're trying to figure out how to put out good content. But it's time consuming and it's overwhelming and it's just a lot. So I wanted to jump in here quick and just give you these 5 top tips that I have to try and make things a little less time consuming for you and also a little bit more clear on what works. So let's jump right in. If you are on live with me, hey Beth, how are you? Drop an emoji and let me know you're here. If you are watching the replay, type #replay, and please drop any questions in the comment box, and I will definitely either respond live or I will respond after the webinar is over. So let's hop in. So my first tip is to create a broad theme and then break it down into smaller areas. So what I mean by that is when you're looking at a month, okay, so you're planning out your content, let's just say for the new year, for January, you're gonna look at that month and you're gonna come up with a theme. And you want that theme to be broad enough, and then you want to break it down into smaller sections. So I'll give you an example. So this month in this group, we are focusing on social media. So that's my broad topic for this month. And then broken down, next week, today we're talking about social media, creating content, repurposing. Next week, I think we're going to be talking about chatbots and how that can increase engagement and actually increase users as well, which I will explain that next week. But there's just something really, really new and cool with chatbots, and I'll explain that. And then the week after, we're going to be talking about communicating your value with your authentic voice and how to actually communicate your skills, your values, and what you're worth. So I took that big topic of social media, of social media. And then I broke that down into all different subsections and areas of things that we can be talking about. Now, the same thing goes not just for my webinars, but then I take the curated specific posts that I do, and I broke that up into sections as well. So for one, it's probably going to be on focusing, how to craft content and things like that. Another might be on chatbots and so on and so forth. So you can kind of get the idea and the gist of how that works. So you just take that big theme and then you break it down into little sections, and that can kind of work across the board with anything. And then the people that are watching you, your audience, they're kind of they can see a theme happening as well, and it's kind of going through a process for them, and it makes sense. So the next tip that I have for you guys is to go broad when crafting your content and then slowly narrow it down into a pitch. So I'll explain what I mean by that. So picture a funnel. You're big up here, and then it starts narrowing down, okay? So we all are pitching something, right? So whether it's our skills, we want someone to hire us as a VA, it's a product that we're offering, we all have a pitch, okay? But if you're just doing the pitch, no one's going to listen to you, right? So you want to create something broad. So let's just use Facebook as an example. So you want to create a post that is talking about something bigger. Okay, it's related to your services or it's related to your product, but it's bigger. Okay, and so now you're going to be able to take out a little piece of that theme and narrow it down as you're talking about it. And then you're going to be able to start weaving in your pitch at the end. Okay, so I am going to give you an example of one of my posts. So every week I always post an inspirational post and I craft that myself. It's 100%, Katie. And what I like to do is I create like a meme. And so the meme on it will have like a quote. And so I'm going to use a specific example. So there was one meme I used a couple of weeks ago. It said, "Talent doesn't make you or break you, choices do." Say it with me, "I'm in charge of my choices." Okay, so that's big. That's a big statement. Okay, so then in the content area, I won't read you the whole thing, but you'll get the gist of it. I said, talent doesn't make or break you, your choices do. Talent, you can choose to let life happen to you, or you can choose to reframe your experiences so that everything that happens to you is a reflection of how things are always working out for you. You can choose to follow a talent or you can choose to squander it. You can also choose to practice a skill and become talented in it. And so it goes on about that. And so then I start narrowing it down. At the end, I say, be conscious of the choices you make because then you are in charge of them. Say it with me, I'm in charge of my choices. Emoji me below if you feel me. Now that's when I get into the pitch because I started narrowing it down. I narrowed it down to choices. So then I started pitching my 6-week program that I was pitching at the time. So I said, if you want to make the choices to take the steps in the right direction to create the life that you want, then check out my 6-week program. So you can see I started out really big. I gave a lot of content. I gave a lot of my thoughts. I gave a lot of my inspiration. And then I narrowed it down into a pitch. And that's exactly what I do, not just for me, but all of my clients as well. And so now people are engaged with my clients and they're seeing, content and value and thoughts. They're being engaged, but then it's going down into a pitch. Okay. So that is my second tip. Number 3, give a piece of value and engage with their pain points and then follow up with your pitch. So it's kind of going back to what I just did. So you want to make sure you're giving value, okay? So a lot of times we get scared because we're like, oh, I don't want to come off salesy. I get it. But you also have to remember, we are giving a service or you are giving a product and it is valuable. It might change someone's life and you might think, oh, it's no big deal. It's, my virtual assistant services. Okay, but that's taking time for someone. That is helping them to cultivate more business. That's going to be able to have them focus on bringing in more money for their company and sales. And based on what they're doing, they might be helping other people too. If you're selling a specific product, hair or skin or whatever it is, that is increasing someone's confidence. It's helping them to feel better about themselves. It might be helping their health. There's a million different things of the value that you are giving them. And so you have to remember that, number 1. Number 2, so you should not be feeling salesy. If you truly think that you have value to give someone else, you are not being salesy. So that's number 1. The second part of this is give a little piece of your value, okay? So if you're selling a product, give a little quick tip, okay, about my hair, something that I could do, to make it healthier, or hydration. If you are a VA or a social media manager, just give a tiny little tidbit, of productivity, organization, anything at all, just a little bit of a value, okay? And then you start talking about your services and what you can offer. Okay, so now it's not going to come across salesy because you gave that little bit of value and then you jumped into something else about what you're offering. Now, number 4, identify your support systems. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do support systems. So if you are starting out on social media, I definitely advise not to get onto every social media platform, okay? Because you're not going to be able to do any of them well if you're on all of them. So you need to build your audience and see what works and what doesn't work on one platform. Now, with that being said, based on what platforms you're using, there are other things that can help to support and grow your audience and your engagement. So I'm going to give you an example. If you are a blogger and you write blogs, that's not the only thing that you should be doing. You should be finding another social media platform, a social media platform to be putting your blog posts out on. Because people are, just because of SEO doesn't mean people are just going to magically find your blog posts. So identify what social media platform your target audience is going to be using, whether, let's just say it's Pinterest. Now you're going to go all in on Pinterest. So that is a support system that's going to be assisting your blog. I'll use Facebook as an example. So you can see, this is my group. I run this group. I have a business page. A great resource for me is my chatbots. It helps with customer service. It increases engagement. No problem, Beth. I'll talk to you later. It actually brings in more users, which I'll explain that next week when we talk about chatbots, but that is considered a support system, okay? Another way you can have a support system is you have other people within your community. So let's say you are a VA or a social media manager or whatever it is you do. There's other people, whether it's in this group or another group that you've gotten to know, and we love each other, we support each other, we all think we're just amazing and fantastic. So get together. Reach out to one another and say, hey, you provide a completely different service than I do. I'd love to kind of create a little support system group. When I post things, would you mind commenting and sharing on them? And I'll do the same, vice versa for you. Well, now you have a support system of, let's say, 5 or 10 women that are all commenting and sharing and interacting on your stuff. That's going to help boost your engagement, boost who's seeing your posts and all of these things. So if you don't already have a support system in place, I definitely recommend putting one in place for you. And I'm sure a lot of the ladies in here might be interested in that. So my last tip, number 5, is number 5, not 10. Number 5 is to repurpose your content. So for me, let's say if I create my inspirational meme for every single week, now I can take that and I can repurpose it. So I could do a couple of different things. I could take that and turn that into a blog post because it's a big idea, and I could take that and kind of run with it in a lot of different areas. So that's repurposing. I could take that and I could repurpose it and put it on Pinterest if I wanted to and get people on that blog post. I could take that and create an email marketing campaign about it because, again, it's big, and I could then narrow it down to break it up, which actually I have used. you can do things like create a social media post that can be reused in different ways. So you could do like a prompting post, like, Tuesday tips, or tell me what you're struggling with. You can see that those types of things in all different groups because everyone does them. That is a great way to repurpose. You're able to use maybe the same post a couple of times a month, and then swap it out. The next month, maybe just put a different image and redo the text a little bit, but you're able to kind of repurpose. So don't feel like, oh my God, I have, 7 days, I need to be posting every single day. There are ways that you're able to kind of repurpose, narrow things down, make things broad enough so then you're able to restructure and utilize them in different ways. So I hope these top 5 tips helped you. If you are struggling in this area of branding, social media, trying to appeal to your soul clients, actually getting clients and telling people what you do, service-wise, product-wise, I definitely recommend my 4-day mini course, which is called Branding 101, Create a Vision with Style. And for the next week, I'm actually giving 20% off. And so you can get the link in the description of this video. And so it's going to help you figure out how to stand out. If you have good ideas, but you're not really sure how to share them, if you're not really sure, what areas to take your marketing in, if you're not really sure how to actually have a cohesive brand, this is kind of a good course for you. And it's quick, it's simple, it's a 4-day course. Bada bing, bada boom, you're done. You have you get a 26-page downloadable PDF workbook, so you're able to actually grab all of the information and start compiling it and putting it into like landing pages, websites, because I give you like qualifying statements. So things that you're able to actually take and put in like fillable words. Making it into your brand, but taking those statements in order to kind of call in your ideal clients and appeal to people more. So if you have any questions or would like more information on that, just comment below and or check out the link in the description of this video. So let me know what questions you have, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.